Now, what happened to CNN? CNN used to be on every breaking news story, every big event in the world. Because I've been in the business 50 years. CNN dominated. They dominated the news coverage. And they got whacked on this Charlie Kirk thing. 46,000 in the key demo. That's local news. Nobody's going to CNN anymore for breaking news. So joining us now from Maine is a guy who knows probably more about CNN than anybody else. His name is John Malone. You've heard about him. He's a very successful businessman. He's got a new book out called Born to be Wired: Lessons from a Lifetime Transforming Television, Wiring America for the Internet, Growing Formula One, Discovery, Sirius, and the Atlanta Braves. That is some subtitle to that book, Mr. Malone. But thank you for appearing. Look, you were there in various capacities, and even now, you're the chair emeritus of Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns CNN. You saw the change from a hard news agency into a left-wing concern. Did that bother you when it was happening?
Well, it depends on where I was at the time, I guess I would say. My involvement in the governance of CNN really started with the merger of Discovery and Time Warner, which took place about 3 years ago. Before that, I would say I was a shareholder indirectly and directly in Time Warner, but also in, for instance, News Corp that had Fox News, and we were owners of CNBC, and we owned McNeil Lehrer NewsHour for many years and underwrote that for the public broadcasting side. So I've been in and around news for a very long time, created CNBC together with the GE guys. So a long history in television news because I came from it as a distributor.
Right. You were in the cable side of it, and you're a technical genius, and you saw early on that the cable was going to dominate. You got in, you made a lot of money. But you write in your book that no Time Warner Discovery executives would interfere when Trump got into the political arena and CNN went anti-Trump. Now, it seems to me, if you're a big stockholder in that company, and you are, and you saw what was happening, that CNN was losing some of its credibility, it had grown since Ted Turner had owned it, that maybe somebody would have said something. But apparently that didn't happen.
Well, I said something and I got ripped for it. I didn't want to cause a walkout at the CNN newsroom, but I suggested that they follow the Fox model a little more closely and just label news, and label opinion, and maybe even have, a guest column or two. But they should differentiate. When we got started with Fox News, it was a call from Rupert Murdoch that said, "Is there room in America for another video news channel?" At that point, I was already a big investor in Ted Turner and CNN. And I said, "Yes, there is, Rupert, but you have to come in center right." And so Rupert's theory was, we're going to have real news. We're going to have guys like Bret Baier or Brit Hume before him. And it's going to be serious news. It's not going to be opinion. And then we're going to have a show that is entertaining and focuses really on politics, anything of current interest. And that was the original thesis. And I your viewers, I'm sure they remember good old Rush Limbaugh, but Rupert's first thought was go recruit Rush Limbaugh to be the anchor on the first Fox News show. And I actually tried to talk Rush into it, and I couldn't. But he gave us Roger Ailes, which was a great.
Yeah, And I was
stuff
the
Fox News.
I was the guy who did the prime time opinion show. But we actively sought, Mr. Malone, the other side. My orders to my staff were find the smartest person you can who disagrees with me. And I wasn't an ideologue, I never have been.
Yeah.
And we put him on. Now on CNN, I got the #1 selling book in the country right now, Confronting Evil. I can't get booked on CNN. I talked
Yeah.
to Anderson Cooper directly. I said, Anderson, you put me on, you're going to double your numbers. You're going to double them. And I got 20 #1 bestsellers on the New York Times list. That's a world record. Why wouldn't you put me on? Silence. So,
Well, I think you got
you
to
know,
start by saying that CNN has great journalists, but they all are educated from the left.
why?
They're in a bubble.
Why is that? You're one of the best business people in the country. And if people
It's
don't
the
know John
journalism
Malone,
school.
just Google it and you'll see how successful he has been. Why would you go exclusively left when that's not a good business plan?
Well, for a little while, let's go back. If you go back to Ted, Ted really founded CNN, and his idea was, 24/7 real news. And he recruited a lot of young people right out of journalism school and some who hadn't been to journalism school. And he started off, I think, fulfilling his mission. In fact, he was even being accused of being a right winger early on. But over time, Ted's views tended to be a little more progressive, let's say, than conservative. His involvement with Jane tended to push him a little more in that direction. But nothing pushed CNN to the left like Rupert coming in on the right.
Well, that's true, but it hasn't worked. And now CNN's going to be sold, I understand. I think that might happen in the next few months. It didn't work. So why not pivot back to what you used to be when James Earl Jones was doing the voiceovers? Last word.
They didn't make me put me in charge of CNN. So I really have to just say I was a director and a shareholder, and basically had zero net influence over the direction of CNN while I was in that role at.
Still doesn't make
Warner.
any sense, though. You're a very astute mind. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's a Trump thing. I think it's probably that, but I'm not sure. The book is Born to be Wired. I found it really fascinating because I was, right in on this 1996 wave of the cable competition. Mr. Malone, the best to you. Thank you for appearing tonight.